stir up feelings of sadness and loneliness.
And the thing about loneliness is that it doesn't only happen when you're by yourself. You might feel lonely in a room full of people. Joining us now is psychotherapist and author Kelly Kitley. Kelly, thanks for being here. Let's talk about this out loud, right? People can feel lonely around the holidays for a lot of reasons. It might be you just lost a loved one, or you moved to a new city, you don't know anybody. If somebody out there is feeling that right now listening to us, what's your advice?
So first and foremost, it is so important to accept and acknowledge how we're feeling. Do a self-check-in, because sometimes my clients beat themselves up for not feeling a certain way around the holidays, that there's such an expectation that it is supposed to be a happy time. And as you mentioned, sometimes with grief and loss or potential history of holidays not going as planned, people can feel trepidatious about the holiday. And if we can acknowledge and embrace, okay, this is where I'm at, it doesn't have to take up the entire month or the entire week. Sometimes I tell my clients to just take it hour by hour and try to manage expectations, that it doesn't have to be the greatest time of the year, and be intentional about how you spend your time and the people that you're around.
I love that, Kelly. And I often try and remind myself about the distinction between being alone and maybe being in solitude. Sometimes we are experiencing loneliness, but can you walk us through some healthy ways to embrace solitude if maybe we do find ourselves alone during the holidays?
Oh, sure. So I think, I certainly appreciate alone time, and that can be recharging for me if I am sitting in meditation or writing in my journal or reading a book, if I'm doing something that I feel fills me up. Sometimes that loneliness can come from doom scrolling or not engaging in a meaningful way. And so when I hear people say, I feel lonely in a group setting, it's important to try to connect with somebody on a more personal level. I think a lot of times when we gather at the holidays, there's a lot of small talk with maybe family members we haven't seen for a while. Try to find one person that you can be really authentic with.
Yeah, I'm thinking about all the small talk, right? How are the kids? Good, right? That's how you shorthand. You mentioned social media, and I know you said doom scrolling, but people who are alone and then they see their friends are out at parties and socializing, that can be really hard. You can feel even more isolated, like you're not part of what everybody else is doing. What do we do about that?
Absolutely. Social media can be so triggering for many people. And what I advise is, if you're not in a great place, probably not the best idea to spend a whole lot of time on social media. Maybe put in a movie or a feel-good kind of series that will lift your spirits. But always recognizing there's so much more to the story than behind what you see in that post. I was laughing earlier. Our family got into a fight on the Christmas tree lot, and we were posting about that, that we like to wrap things up in a big red bow and make it look shiny. And that's not the way that real life is.
Yeah, that's so real. And we focused a lot on the people experiencing loneliness, but what's the best way to check in on someone else if you think that they're going through something? Briefly.
Absolutely. That's so important that we take care of each other during this time. And so whether you think somebody's lonely or not, I think it's good measure to just reach out to somebody. This can be a very overwhelming time for people and very stressful. And so maybe ask somebody if they want to grab a cup of coffee, or if you can run an errand for them, or maybe you want to volunteer together. Sometimes when we get outside of ourselves and focus on somebody else, it can really lift our spirits too.
Yeah, I did a story about that once. Volunteering can really help with loneliness. Kelly Kitley, thank you so much.
Yeah, this is a good word.
You're welcome. Great to see you guys.
You too.
And thanks for being with us. We got a lot more news ahead.
You're watching NBC News Daily.